10 years ago, Max Scherzer was facing off against Vladimir Guerrero Sr., and this happened. So it's just crazy to think that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 10 years later hit 3 home runs in a single game, and a few of them off that same guy, Max Scherzer. I mean, that clip makes me feel really old. But anyways, what's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have a lot to talk about today, so we're not going to waste any time with an intro. The only thing that I do want to mention is the fact that we are on the road to 300,000 subs, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button because we do this every single day. Some shocking news coming from the Yankees camp. I was at the batting cages when this happened, and I got a notification that the Yankees had made a trade. Mike Tauchman is going to the San Francisco Giants in exchange for Wandy Peralta and a left-handed reliever, but he's been terrible over his last 54 games with 0 home runs and a 636 OPS. He's fantastic on the base pass as well as defensively, but offensively, he's not really doing any much. And Wandy Peralta, a lot of Yankees fans are saying, what is Brian Cashman doing? I know his ERA is not that great, but if we take a look at his baseball savant, his stuff is actually pretty nasty, and that lefty reliever, Justin Wilson, is a little injury prone, so there's nothing wrong with having another lefty in that bullpen. Now, speaking of the Yankees, I want to go ahead and talk about the game that they played yesterday. They beat the Orioles 5-1 as Corey Kluber kinda was Klubot yesterday. He goes 6 2/3 innings, only allows 1 earned run and has 5 strikeouts. Aaron Judge and the Yankees, they mashed 3 home runs as Gio Urshela drives in 2 RBIs as well. So maybe this is the start of the Yankees going on a roll. Every single time that they play the Orioles, just absolute madness ensues. They dominate the Orioles more than any team dominates an opposing team that I can remember in the last forever. Another surprising move, I don't quite understand this, but I guess it makes sense because he's almost 40 years old. Cleveland has DFA'd, pretty much released Oliver Perez, which is surprising because over his last 21 innings, he has a sub-2 ERA and a sub-2 FIP, which is really good, but apparently Cleveland just has no room for him because in that division, there's a lot of right-handed heavy lineups, so they said, hey, we'd rather you go somewhere else. J-Ram and Franmil Reyes, they drove in the first 4 RBIs for Cleveland, and that home run from Franmil Reyes was absolutely demolished. He's up to 7 home runs and a 10-17 OPS. Aaron Savali is now 4-0 on the season. Kenta Maeda is broken all of a sudden. 17 earned runs already on the season. That is not going to cut it, but I will say Byron Buxton, who just hit a home run as I'm making this video off Logan Allen, he is now up to, well, that was his 7th home run in yesterday's. Now he's up to 8, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. He's just absolutely insane, having an MVP caliber season. James Karinchak, I do want to add, he got the save. He struck out 2. He's up to 20 strikeouts in 9 innings. That shouldn't be possible. The Giants and the Rockies played a crazy game yesterday. We're going to skip towards the end because Garrett Hampson, he has been on fire as of late. So he hits a home run for the lead, and then Brandon Crawford says, all right, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. But this one goes to McCovey Cove, a splash hit, and makes it 4-4. And then Ryan McMahon is the man. He hits his 8th home run. That is an MLB lead. CJ Cron goes the opposite way in San Francisco. That is some crazy pop. So the Rockies come away with a 7-5 victory as their GM, Jeff Bridich, is out, so maybe we can have some positive vibes going forward. Remember how we started off the video with that Scherzer versus Vlad Sr. 10 years ago? Well, yeah, a little bit of deja vu happened because his son, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., broke out for his best game so far in his young career, 3 home runs and 7 RBIs. He lost 40 pounds. He apologized to the team for dogging it in 2020 because he was not in great shape, and boom, all of a sudden, he is an MVP caliber player. The Jays are fully in the mix in the American League East. They're 3 games back of the Red Sox. They're tied with the Rays. I will say that Springer and Teoscar are coming back fairly soon. Watch the heck out for the Blue Jays if those guys come back healthy and they're performing how they're supposed to. Also, I do want to mention Trey Turner is up to 6 home runs, 5 stolen bases, and a 900 OPS. Put some respect on Trey Turner's name. He could be the best shortstop in baseball if we're not talking about Tatis when he's performing at his best. Also, there's Trevor Story and maybe Francisco Lindor, but like the title says, Francisco Lindor is getting booed heavily by the Mets fans. They're not over him per se, but they're making sure that they let him know what he's doing is not acceptable. So a few months ago, I pulled this Bowman's Best rookie Nick Solak card, and I kind of stashed away thinking hopefully he breaks out. He's breaking out. 7 home runs already in April. He looks like the second coming of Ian Kinsler. Joey Gallo hits a home run and walk, so his on-base percentage is up to 440. And also, that was his first home run in 19 games. That was the longest drought of his career. Mike Fultonevich was really good. Jose Quintana was not good. He sucks. I'm sorry to be mean. He has 17 earned runs in 12 innings. That's not solid. I will just leave it at that and try to be nice. The Angels need a true ace if they want to win the World Series. Dylan Bundy is fine, but he is not going to cut it. So good job to the Rangers winning 6-1. The Astros, real quick, I want to talk about this game. Marco Gonzalez wasn't bad, but those 2 earned runs that he gave up was all that the Astros starter, Christian Javier, needed. His 3rd consecutive quality start and his 3rd start in which he has not allowed a single earned run. He goes 7 innings, 0 earned runs as the Mariners are handed their 3rd loss in a row. Speaking of 3rd loss in a row, the Dodgers are on a 3-game losing streak because their bullpen has been terrible. But let's go ahead and talk about the fact that Jesse Winker, with this home run, he ups his hitting streak to 12 games. He ties it up in the 5th as the Reds are able to steal the lead again in the 7th. And I just have to remind you guys that even though the Dodgers bullpen is kind of middle of the road in terms of ERA, they have been blowing leads like crazy. They need another arm, or they just have to get healthy, because that's not going to cut it.
But you got to show up. You can't demand max. Remember, he got offered $325 and held out for $341. $1 million more than Tatis. Okay, well, play like Tatis then. Okay, I'm just saying that to Lindor.
So yeah, the Mets fan base is trying to make sure that the way that Lindor is playing is also not going to cut it. So the Mets lose to the Red Sox yesterday 2-1 as Bobby Dahlbeck and Rafael Devers, they drive in both runs. Garrett Richards had his first double-digit strikeout performance in 3 years. Amazing, good for him. 7 innings, only 1 earned run, did not walk anyone, and racked up those 10 strikeouts. Fans boo Francisco Lindor. He went 1 for 4. He drops his OPS plus down to 71. If you did not know, the average OPS plus is 100, so 29 points below average. But I will say he has 10 walks to 8 strikeouts, so he is seeing the ball well. It's just a matter of time before he breaks loose. So what do you guys think? Is Francisco Lindor overpaid, or do we think that it's just a slump and the Mets fan base is just giving him a hard time, because that's usually what they do? Their standards are a whole lot higher than a lot of other teams in Major League Baseball. The Pirates, I can't believe I'm saying this, are above 500. They beat the Royals, who are playing like the best team in the American League right now. Jake Junis and Tyler Anderson engage in a surprisingly pretty fun to watch pitchers duel. Colin Moran drives in an RBI, and Defoe with a pinch hit game-winning RBI in the 7th. They are now on a 3-game winning streak, and again, they're 12-11 on the season. They're 1 game above 500. Golf clap, because I don't know what's happening in Pittsburgh. Frankie Montas looked like he was back on track yesterday, looking to get his 3rd win of the season. And then Brett Phillips happened, so sorry, Ace fans. I thought I was about to hype you up for a W. Michael Walker was fantastic yet again. 5 innings, only 1 earned run. Joey Wendell refuses to stop demolishing baseballs. An RBI was huge yesterday as Sean Murphy hits a moonshot to come within 1 run, but the Rays bullpen was able to hold it down. Speaking of moonshots, 481 feet off the bat of Ronald Acuna Jr. Man, yo, Ronald, that ball had a family. Could you chill a little bit? Ozzy Albies, he turns in an RBI double, and that sets up Ian Anderson for a dominant performance, tossing 7 innings, only allowed 1 hit, 0 runs, 8 strikeouts. They scored 3 more runs in the 8th, so the final box score was 5-0 as the Cubs get shut out. I believe that's a couple times already on the season. I could be wrong. The Diamondbacks versus the Padres. We have one more moonshot to talk about, because Merrill Kelly, he was really good the first 6 innings, only allowed 1 earned run for the Diamondbacks, but he was only up 1 run after finishing those 6 innings. Then David Peralta singled, and Carson Kelly hit a 900-foot home run. I can't believe the season that he's having. Remember, he's a catcher. He could possibly be a top 5 offensive catcher already, and he's still young. Adrian Hauser hit a home run yesterday for the Brewers, and if you do not know that name, I mean, I don't blame you, because he's not a household name. He's the starting pitcher for the Brewers, so him and Tyron Taylor, they go back-to-back as Urias clutches up again with a few RBIs. Taylor drives in his 3rd RBI, which wins it for the Brewers, who are 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're 25th in OPS, so their offense is not very good, but their team ERA is 7th in all of baseball, so they're getting it done with the pitching as they beat the Marlins 5-4. And then the final 2 games from yesterday, the Cardinals score 3 before the 3rd inning, and that allows Nolan Arenado to make his signature play. He went all out. Derek Jeter had the Jeter play where you kind of backhand a ball and then you jump and leap and throw it all at the same time. This is definitely Arenado's play. Carlos Martinez goes 7 1/3, only allows 2 hits, 1 earned run. They are now tied with the Pirates of all teams for 2 games back of the Brewers, but again, the Brewers are playing fantastic, 7-3. The Cardinals don't count them out just yet. And in the final game from yesterday, Lucas Giolito has been getting smoked lately. He gives up 4 earned runs to Miggy and company. His season ERA is up to 4.7. Urena for the Tigers goes 7 solid innings, and look for Nico Goodrum to start breaking out because he has the tools to be one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball, but his speed and his power can be a little bit sneaky. All right, everyone, that does it for today's MLB recap. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you make of that Mike Tauchman trade. What do you make of the Mets booing Francisco Lindor? And also, the Pirates at 12-11, are they the real deal? And then the Dodgers on a 3-game losing streak, what's going on with them? Nick Solak up to 7 home runs, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. absolutely dominant as of late, but stay safe out there and enjoy this day in MLB history.
Making his major league debut, left fielder number 34, Bryce Harper.
On a pitch up, he rams it to center, way over the head of Matt Kemp. That'll short hop the wall, and Bryce Harper digs his way into his first major league hit.